Good morning, everyone. And welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Saxe, this Sunday, May 9th, 2021. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Let's take a deep breath together. Breathing in, breathing out. And on this Mother's Day, we breathe in love. We breathe out love. We keep breathing in, claiming and affirming love in our lives, remembering the sweetness, the sacredness of motherly love, wherever that motherly love comes from. She may not have given birth to us, but loved us all the same. Sometimes we are loved by our friends, and motherly love comes to us from their hands, from their hearts. Sometimes it is from a very special man in our lives who may love us with motherly love at times, an unconditional, nourishing, giving, quiet love. And so we breathe in this love in this moment, letting it circulate through our bodies, through our hearts, our minds, and then exhaling it out into this world, into the hearts of those who have not experienced such love. We let our hearts just open to unconditional love, to everlasting peace, to the sense of loving and belonging and home that kind of love gives us. And we prepare ourselves for this day, for this experience together. Where with grateful hearts we await to hear whatever we need to hear, see whatever we need to see, feel whatever we need to feel, remember whatever our conscious minds might have forgotten, so that we can step more fully, embrace more fully our divine, magnificent selves. We just breathe together. Breathe together. One life, one love, one human energy. Energy that never dies, cannot be destroyed. The energy that is God in us and as us. Continue to breathe and feel this peace washing over you and through you. And from our peaceful hearts, we now sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore.
Now is our children's blessing. If you would all say it with me. Children of light, we see you guided and directed by an inward spirit that leads you into the path that is right for you. We see you strong and whole. We see you blessed and prospered. We see you courageous and confident. We see you as the spiritually perfect beings you truly are. Children of light, we bless you. Our inspiration moment is from 365, Science of Mind, Health. God is in and through his creation, the universe. And all form is his self-expression. My body is of God, the manifestation of a perfect God. I am the beauty of God's work and the vehicle of his consciousness. I allow the divine perfection to function through me as perfect health. My individuality does not imply frailty. I am created in God's image, and I desire only his perfection through me. Today I increase, and I recognize God's consciousness in me. Each day my body is renewed. I am alive with everlasting life. This life lives as me, and there is nothing else. Having discovered the inner reality, I turn to it with confidence. Easily, old doubts and negativities are dismissed. I let go of all thinking that would seem to keep me from the knowledge that I am perfect in all ways. By blessing my body and my mind, I acknowledge my Creator. The joy of living circulates through me, warms me, and fills me with trust. I let go of any old fear of age or decline and only know with sure knowledge that I am forever growing better and stronger, that I am happier in mind and more perfect in body. I give thanks each day for my perfect health. My body is my temple, and my house is in order. I will take sickness away from the midst of thee, from Exodus 23:25. I am alive, if you will say with me, I am alive with everlasting life. I am alive with everlasting life. I am alive with everlasting life.
Make space for the good things in your life. Make space for the good things in your life. Create a pathway to your heart. Create a pathway to your heart.
Hold space for the good things in your life. Hold space for the good things in your life. Create a pathway to your heart. Create a pathway to your
Love that's all around. Love that's all around.
In this abundant life, all good things come from the divine source. And for us, we only have to hold space for that goodness, create a pathway to our hearts, and then receive all the love that's around every day, every moment, all the time. All the time.
So if you'd like to sing along with us on this last part, it's receive the love that's all around. Receive the love that's all around. Receive the love that's all around. Make space, create
So, we are in part 3 of our talk about health. And yes, we did that same daily word or inspiration moment for the last 2 weeks, and now we're going to the 3rd paragraph. The joy of living circulates through me, warms me, and fills me with trust. I let go of any old fear of age or decline and only know with sure knowledge that I am forever growing better and stronger, that I am happier in mind and more perfect in body. I give thanks each day for my perfect health. My body is my temple, and my house is in order. So for me, the best part of this paragraph is this first line. The joy of living circulates through me, warms me, and fills me with trust. For if we're really going to manifest, we need to be fully in trust. That whatever it is that we are seeking to call forth into our lives is actually going to show, and that there is this energy, God, which facilitates that. That we are using this law of mind action, that thoughts in mind produce after their kind, that we actually know that and use that. We're actually using it all the time. We're just not aware of it. It's just like gravity. You don't have to believe in gravity. Gravity happens whether you believe it or not. The law of mind action is always working whether we're consciously using it or not. It's just that most of us are going through life unconsciously, not knowing that what we're thinking about is creating the experience of our lives. And so in unity, what we're doing as we're living principle is consciously deciding what it is we want to create in our lives, speaking it into existence. And this paragraph is saying that once we have that full knowledge, and we know it is circulating through us, it warms us, meaning it's radiating through our bodies, and it's filling us, that it fills us with trust. We just trust it's going to happen because we know that that's the only thing that's possible. When we seek, we picture it, we trust it, and trusting often means acting as if it's already happened, which is sometimes hard to do, especially around the area of health, especially around that area. It's a little easier with other things in our lives. I know when there were things that I wanted to manifest, and these were material things, it was easy for me to act as if I had them. When I wanted to make bigger changes to my house, and I wasn't quite sure at the time how that was going to happen, but I knew I wanted it to happen, I would go to that part of the house that I wanted to change, and I would do a little happy dance. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love my new sitting room or my new back patio. And I would sit there and feel that joy. And I know I'm the kind of person that when something like that happens, I'll go 20 times a day to go look at that part of the house. And so I would do it often, and I would run past that part of the house and say, oh my gosh, I love this. It finally happened. And it always happened. It always happened. With our health, things are a little bit trickier because we're not feeling well, perhaps. Or part of our body is not acting the way we would like it to act. And so acting as if you have good health when you don't currently have good health is trickier. What I've usually done is I think of myself later that day or the next day, and I think of myself being able to physically be in the world the way I would love to be in the world, and then saying I'm grateful for that. And so if I'm flat on my back sick on Thursday, I'm imagining Friday or Saturday feeling completely differently and going through my day feeling great. If I was currently congested, I imagine myself just walking around enjoying breathing fully again. You know how it is when you're congested and you can't get another breath and you're breathing through your mouth? And we usually don't think about how grateful we are to breathe until we're really congested like that. And so I would imagine just being able to walk through my day, being able to breathe without a problem. That yes, I can get up and go and see my friends, do what I want, go work out, be out in the yard working, and feeling great. So I think in the area of health, when we're trying to manifest, that's really where the trust needs to come in. This is from H. Emily Cady's How I Use Truth. She actually wrote it. It's first published in 1916, and it's now in its 23rd printing. Here they're talking about when you're doing what they call treatments with others, so praying with others with affirmative prayer. So they're really talking about others, but we can use this as examples when we're praying for ourselves and doing affirmation for ourselves. So when you first began to treat, you, so sure of the abundance of divine life, calmly and trustingly spoke the truth to your patient. So we are the patients now praying for ourselves. When he got in a hurry, you, beginning to take on responsibility that was God's, not yours, grew anxious and began to cast on him your compressed anxiety. You were no longer a channel for divine life, sweet, peaceful, harmonious, to flow through, but by your intensity and hurry, you completely shut off the divine influx and were able only to force on him, out of your anxious mortal mind, a few strained, compulsory thoughts that held him as in a vice and exhausted you. In the matter of God as our supply or any other side of the divine law that we, from time to time, attempt to bring into manifestation, the moment we begin to be anxious, our quiet becomes simply the airtight valve of tension or suppressed anxiety that shuts out the very thing we were trying to bring about and so prevents its manifestation. So this trust that we're talking about in the inspiration moment, the sweet, peaceful, harmonious feeling that we're talking about, is that moment in meditation when we start to feel at ease, at peace with what it is that we're affirming. Because sometimes we do start affirming and we're feeling the tension, the anxiety, because there's this conflict between what we want and what we're experiencing. So there's automatic tension there. And then sometimes we have mental or emotional tension because we want it so badly and we want it when we want it in this moment. And so we get anxious. And in that, we cut off the flow of good because we're white-knuckling it. And we're trying to think through, how's this going to happen? How am I going to go from feeling like this to feeling how I want to feel? How do I make that happen? And the lesson here H. Emily Cady is giving us is that when we learn to relax and give ourselves time to be at peace, give ourselves time to feel that warmth and to know that this feeling of peace is circulating through us, when we give ourselves time to that, then we open up that valve. and goodness can flow again. But that takes sitting in the silence, and 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 sitting some more, until we feel the peace wash over us and through us. And until that assurance is not just a mental construct, but something we feel inside of us, and we feel it welling up, and you know that it's coming. In fact, you know in pure potentiality that it has already happened. That's where you were from the beginning before something went wrong, quote unquote wrong. In our humanness, we want to rush the process. We want to rush it. And then we want to start thinking, how do I make that happen? Instead of giving this law of mind action time to work. And letting our trust build over however long it needs to build. That spiritual patience is a muscle. It's a muscle. It's a skill set. It's something that we have to practice. That is the spiritual practice. To be able to be in the quiet and to be there peacefully. And if we're not there peacefully, to sit until we're peaceful. Call in the things in your toolbox that help you to become peaceful if it's hard for you to do it on your own. Maybe you call silent unity. Maybe you have a prayer partner and you pray with them. Maybe you turn on music. Maybe you do yoga. Maybe you do deep breathing. Maybe you use tapping or some other modality to help you feel peaceful, but feel it in your body. And you know that you know that you know that it's going to happen. And you just trust. Trust. This goes on to say, we need to rise above this state of tension to one of living trust. There is such a thing as indolent shifting of our responsibility to an outside God, which means laziness, and which never brings anything into manifestation. But there is also a state of trustful passivity, which we must enter into to do the highest work. There are some things that we are to do ourselves, but there are others that God does not expect us to do. And it says in parentheses, when I speak of ourselves as something apart from God, I simply mean our conscious selves. We are always one with God, but we do not always realize it consciously. I speak of ourselves as the conscious part of us. They are his part, and our greatest trouble lies in our trying to do God's part, just because we have not learned how to trust him to do it. We are, with our conscious thought, to speak the words of life, of truth, of abundant supply, and we are to act as though the words were true. But the bringing it to pass is the work of a power that is higher than we, a presence that we do not see with these mortal eyes, but which is omnipotent and will always rush to our rescue when we trust it. Will always rush to our rescue when we trust it. From the smallest thing of our everyday life to the rolling away of the largest stone of difficulty from our path, this presence will come in to deliver us, but its working depends on our trusting, and trusting means getting still inside. Trusting means getting still inside. Daily meditation. If we do it all the time, then we don't have to scramble when the going gets tough. If we're building that muscle every single day, and we know how to let ourselves fall down into that place of peace and trust, then we can be there in an instant when we need it. Being in the stillness and allowing ourselves to feel the presence of divinity, our divinity. This co-creation. And really, because we are one with Spirit, there can't be a co-creating anything, because that co-creating implies that there are two. So we are creating this. Our divine selves is bringing forth from pure potentiality into physical manifestation what it is we're affirming. And we manifest at the level of our consciousness. And so it may not happen as quickly as we want it to happen. And letting ourselves be in that space of tension between pure potentiality and full physical manifestation is hard. It's hard. And many of us give up. I have often given up because it didn't happen when I wanted to, or I wanted to speed up the process by getting in the middle of it. And that's what H. Emily Cady is referring to when she says that we start to do God's work. There's that saying that says, the how is God's work. We decide what. God, our divinity, divine energy, divine intelligence, divine wisdom, divine health, does the rest. We just have to fix it here. Fix it here. Fix it here. All through us. And that may take work and time, tears, letting go, building up, starting from the foundation. What do I believe God is? We talked about that first. Knowing what our foundation is. And not just knowing it and being able to say it and spout it off to people who ask, oh, what do you believe? And you can just roll it off. Know it in your bones. So that when you sit in the silence, you're just all in it. You're all in it. And you'll know it when you're there. And each of us here in this room, each of us that are listening remotely, you may feel it differently than I do. We all have an experience of God when we let ourselves, and we know what that divinity, what that peace that is our divinity. We know when that shows up, but it may show up differently for you than for me. Because you're a unique expression. And God moves through you probably differently than it moves through me. But I think if we'll stay in the silence often enough and long enough, you'll feel it and you'll know it. Know it. And then no matter what you're doing in life, like the reading said, with the smallest things or when that huge stone is rolled away, you'll know it. As soon as the thought comes up, as soon as the feeling comes up, you'll trust it immediately and then move forward with whatever is supposed to be done or not done. Sometimes we are simply not to do. We are simply to let. Some of my biggest lessons have been in how do I just let Spirit work and stay still as Spirit works, and to know Spirit is working. To know Spirit is working. I was always tempted to jump in when I could not trust. And I thought, oh, I got to grab that, because I'm not sure Spirit heard me. I'm not sure Spirit can handle this. I better jump in and save the day. It's not happening fast enough. I better help God along. He could have started a whole lot faster than he did. Or she did. It did. Yeah, that's when I wanted to jump in the process. And now I know, more often than not, that I simply need to be in the stillness and let it happen. Let it happen through me. Be there long enough that I feel it. And trust it. And then I say, thank you. Thank you. We say it often here, yes, and thank you. So when I'm sitting in the silence and I have prayed to feel better, and then there's a moment of clarity in my consciousness when I say, this is going to happen. This is happening now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I just have to affirm that the healing is happened. If my consciousness can't quite get to that I am healed and it is done, I can wrap my mind around that I am healing right now in this moment. And I am getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger with each passing second. And there have been times when I have felt terrible laying in bed. And I've said that very thing over and over. Thank you. Thank you for healing me in every moment of every day. And I know tomorrow I'm going to feel much stronger than I do right now. That's what we need to get to. That's what H. Emily Cady is talking about. That's what Ernest Holmes was talking about in that inspiration moment. And that trust, that feeling, that confidence, that spiritual confidence which you have is a feeling that's coursing through your blood and your bones. And nobody can tell you different. Your conscious mind can't even tell you differently. Trust in health, vibrant health, whatever it is you want to ask for. Give yourself time to be with that, long enough to feel it, long enough to trust it, long enough to be able to see it in your mind's eye and know that that thing shall happen. And rejoice in it, in that moment. And however much energy you can summon for a happy dance in whatever state you're in at the time, dance, you're happy. rejoice that you've received it. Sometimes trust is simply rejoicing that there is an energy that allows us to live like that, to think something and bring it into manifestation. I think that's the most miraculous thing ever, to think that there's this love that is God that has given us that power, that has given me a choice to either lay here like I feel now and still be loved unconditionally, or to decide that I want something different and be able to bring it into my life because I chose it. That speaks to my heart. That stops me in my tracks. And when that starts to stop you in your tracks, when you believe that that is a miraculous gift that you have in your hands, everything that you ask for has to come. Has to come. Spiritual assuredness, spiritual confidence, trust beyond all trust. Trust beyond all trust, like you can trust nothing else. Like you can trust nothing else. Let's take this into meditation. So as we breathe now in this moment, we breathe in trust. We breathe in trust. We claim spiritual confidence, spiritual strength, power, faith. We claim and affirm the power of imagination, the power to see what it is we want clearly, to know what it looks like, to imagine what it feels like, to have the thing that we desire, no matter what it is: peace, love, joy, reconciliation, vibrant health, freedom from pain, physical, mental, or emotional, harmony with family members or colleagues, work that is fulfilling, peace on the planet, mental focus, whatever it is. So we breathe into our heart's desire. And in this moment, we breathe into this energy that is divine goodness. We breathe into divine goodness as us. As us. create a space for all the good things in our life, as Raheem sang. We create space for love, divine love, unconditional love. Love is peace. Love is health. Love is financial security and the ability to make the choices that we want to make in our lives, no matter what they may be. Love is freedom. Love is wisdom. Love is divine intelligence that knows all things, is the source of all things in our lives, and which is closer to us than our fingertips. We breathe into it now, finding that place of rest within it. And in that place, we say yes and thank you. Yes and thank you. Yes and thank you for healing on all levels, mind, body, spirit, and heart. Mind, body, spirit, and heart. Mind, body, spirit, and heart. Yes, and thank you. We trust deeply. We trust fully. And it shall be done. Amen. So, as we're in this space of trust and peace, we also know that our finances come from source with a capital S. It doesn't come from jobs or businesses. It comes from the divine, through us and into our lives to help us be and do the things that we need to do in our lives. And so now we affirm our offering prayer. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive, and so it is. And so it is. You're okay.
Let me walk to the banks of the river of love, where the current runs deep, baptized in the one, where there's no separation and the light is all we see. Honoring all our differences and love will set us free. Oh, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. knows we gotta try. Well, it's my responsibility to heal the wounds in me. Compassion, faith, and hope, and love, and truth will set us free. Oh, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I said, oh, you rock my soul. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Oh, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I said, oh, you rock my soul. I said, oh, you rock my soul. I said, oh, you rock my soul.
So during this time, we want to honor our mothers on this Mother's Day. And first, I'd like us to take some time to honor those mothers, grandmothers, those who have served as mothers in our lives and loved us with their maternal hearts, that are no longer on this earthly plane with us, who've gone before us. And this can often be a bittersweet time for people. For some, it's a very painful day. And so I think it's important that we honor those mothers and their place in our hearts and in our lives. You know, Mary, the mother of Jesus, is the symbol of unconditional love, of motherhood. She is often said to also be representative of intuition, that part of us that knows from our hearts what is right. Motherly love is about that heart space. Heart space. And so when we don't have our mothers anymore, when we don't have our grandmothers, our mothers-in-law, those people in our lives who served our hearts with that kind of love, there's a special place for honoring them, I think. And so I want us to breathe into that for ourselves and for all those whose mothers are no longer living. For all those, perhaps, who have never had motherly love, who had someone who gave birth to them, but perhaps they mourn not having a mother who loved them as mothers do. And so let's just have a moment of silence together. Those of us in the room, those who are watching us remotely, be here in this moment with us. Our hearts join with yours. And if you want perhaps to picture her, all of them, picture her now in your most favorite spot with her. Perhaps speak words of gratitude and love. Perhaps something you never said but wish you had. See her face. Imagine her close. just let yourself be in that space. Surrounded by and nourished by a love that feeds, a love that protects, a love that cries when you cry, a love that shelters, a love that sows wisdom. Just let yourselves be there as we are with each other, holding space for each other in this moment. Knowing that whatever you feel right now is good and true and right. Good and true and right. And in this moment, as you picture her, as you picture them, know that you hold them in your heart forever. For energy cannot be destroyed. And even though they are no longer with us physically, they are indeed still with us, still sheltering, still protecting, still guiding, nurturing, loving, touching, reaching out. Loving us perhaps like no other has ever loved us. As we continue in this space, can you help me with that? You put a little further, right there. Good, thank you. And so those whose mothers or grandmothers or others who gave them maternal love are in this room with us, who would like to come up and light a candle for them. And you may take a white rose, come up one at a time. We will continue to hold space for each other as we stay bathed in maternal love. So the large candle represents Mary. Here, I'll do it. There we go. You want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Which one do you want? And those of you who are watching us remotely know that we are lighting candles for you as well and holding you in our hearts. I think you just have to pull the trigger. That should do it. There you go. Anyone else? Anyone else? Quentin, a light one for your mom. I will. So let's just take a breath together. Feeling our gratitude for having been brought into this world by those who blessed us with maternal love. And though they are no longer here, we know that they are truly in our hearts. We still hear their voices, know that we are guided and protected, that we are nurtured always, that love never dies. Love never dies. And so it is, and so it shall be. We hold you forever in our hearts. Amen.
We also want to honor the mothers that are in the room. So whether you're a mother or a stepmother or had a mother, we would like to honor you. I'm going to read a little poem that I found called Her Hands by Maggie Pittman. Her hands held me gently from the day I took my first breath. Her hands helped me guide and take my first step. Her hands held me close when tears would start to fall. Her hands were quick to show me that she would take care of it all. Her hands were there to brush my hair or straighten a wayward bow. Her hands were often there to comfort the hurts that didn't always show. Her hands helped hold the stars in place and encourage me to reach. Her hands would clap and cheer and praise when I captured them at length. Her hands would also push me, though not down or in harm's way. Her hands would punctuate the words, "Just do what I say." Her hands sometimes had to discipline to help bend this young tree. Her hands would shape and mold me into all that I knew I could be. Her hands are now twisted with age and years of work. Her hands need my gentle touch to rub away the hurt. Her hands are more beautiful than anyone can be. Her hands are the reason I am me. Now, go ahead, Jerry. Jerry's going to hand out. Everybody gets some roses. And then you will also get some sweets for the sweet. And you will also get an envelope with this poem in it. We do so appreciate those of you that have tuned in on this special day. I can't imagine what it's like to be a mother, but I can imagine what it's like to be loved. So we deeply appreciate everyone and everything that you do. Thank you.
No, we're not passing it around, just drop it in the basket.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. Wind that makes the tall trees bend into leaning. Suddenly the snowflakes that fall have a meaning. Sprinkling the sea makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. It would sure be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time be my friend. Let me start again. Suddenly my world's grown and changed its face, but I still know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, and yet I've watched it grow away. Oh, and if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know if we should believe the things that we see. Tell us, should we run away? Should we try and stay? Or
Thank you very much for spending your Sunday with us. To all mothers everywhere, happy Mother's Day to you. Have a glorious day and a glorious week. Namaste.